This, I thought, for what we were asking, I like where we're at. It was a huge emphasis on communication today. We did some movement and got guys moving around. First couple of days here, we like to keep things inside the red area. We don't open them up. Don't know what really over the last week they've been doing right on this discretionary week. So we kind of used today a little bit of their recovery tonight to see where they're at tomorrow, and then Monday we'll open it up, move it out on the field, and start playing from the 20 to 20. So today was a lot of red area emphasis in the kicking game and field goal, punt. Same thing tomorrow. We'll move into some KOR as well as some in the field work on Monday. So we got 4 straight days of work here. We'll be off Wednesday. The new rules, the way they play out, are kind of a transition for everybody. I thought overall our offense, kind of from the spring, just knock some rust off today. But I really thought the individualized periods, like we had a throw period where it was 4 quarterbacks throwing 4 routes. Just the fact that we can complete 4 for 4 is making me happy right now. I thought a lot of improvement from where we were in the spring. Defensively, I got everybody back. Really, the only guy that's limited, I think I told you, T-Raw is out for a couple weeks here, but otherwise everybody was out there practicing it. So open it up for questions.
You said in Indianapolis earlier this week that it'd be a QB competition in camp unless one of them separated themselves. What would that look like to you?
I think just over a steady dose of time, after 2 weeks here, if there's somebody that was just heads and shoulders above, not just, obviously the execution of the offense, but I think the quarterback, he's different, right? That guy's got to have leadership skills. He's got to have the ability to handle adversity. He's got to be able to bring others along with him. He's got to be able to take criticism when things don't go well. So I think someone has to separate themselves over a period of time. I don't think it's a one-day evaluation and promotion. It's something of a cumulative effect.
Bret, Spoon, kind of like your DB coach, seems to talk.
Yeah.
But what does he bring to the defense, both in that and how he plays?
Well, I'm sure you guys kind of know as you get a little bit more substance to him. Spoon's put on weight. He's heavier than he's ever been. Looks the right way. I don't think we've ever been shy about Spoon being able to communicate. It's just a correct communication. But I really like this spring and summer. I think Aaron's even kind of made a comment that, what we need in that room, he's able to bring it a lot more consistently. Definitely after the guys left from a year ago, there was obviously TA was a very dominant personality player in that room for a while, leadership-wise. And I think Spoon's in his own way still trying to be him and also lead that group. Really excited about some of the young talent in that room. Also, Taz Nicholson is joined Spoon, has developed his body, looks really good. I'm excited where those guys are at.
With Samari, I guess since the transfer portal today, do you anticipate any other roster changes, either additions or?
You can feel things coming. I had a feeling that one was headed in that direction. Wish Samari all the best as it goes forward. I don't see anybody on our roster changing, but like the way that the rules read now, right? Things can change on any given moment. But I think once kids have put in as much work and invest their time, I wouldn't foresee anything. The only thing I could see possibly something happening is 2 or 3 weeks from now, somebody that maybe is on the end of their career, right? But the ability for them to be eligible when they transfer is, not really there for them unless they go down to a lower level.
You mentioned it before, but having that opportunity in summer with a football, how much further along today are you than everywhere else?
Great point. I think in 2 specific areas, in the quarterback snap exchange, quick passing game, and then also in special teams, because Sean's been able to get some work that normally would have never been able to exist with the specialists, the punters, the kickers, and the snappers.
Well, Tommy and Art are outspoken. They seem to be very confident guys.
Yeah.
How does that change that room just to have 2 guys that are very outspoken?
Well, I think that's normal. I think, you guys might just be reverting. You've had a lot of BP and Isaiah, before we came here, who obviously Isaiah is a good talker, but he's man a few words, and BP's, a guy that really, I think, came out of a shell, the last year here. But those 2 naturally have that QB DNA. They're talkers. They're 2 different guys too, right? Tommy, is truly one of those guys that embraces, enjoys, and loves life every day. Very outspoken demeanor. Art is a kind of a coaching voice, right? Like very authoritarian, very not afraid to dictate, not afraid to speak up, not afraid to criticize of others, but also of himself in a positive way. So 2 different guys there, but I'm excited to see where they go. I thought RJ had a really good today. Donovan Leary came in and threw the ball around really well. So excited to see where those guys go.
But I wanted to ask you about Kramer already getting first team reps at center with the Bears.
Yeah.
That doesn't, I'm sure, shock you.
No.
Just the idea that he could be an impact.
Yeah, I got a text midway through the day, Monday, I believe it was, and his dad and somebody else sent me a text, and then so I got to work early on Tuesday morning, I think it was, and I shot him just a little message and said, hey, you're prepared for this moment, you know, a couple inspirational things. He shot me right back, so I don't know if he was getting ready to practice or whatever, but he seems really excited, and it's not surprising to me. I mean, Doug, in that system especially, I thought going into draft weekend, I thought that was a team that would be, I didn't want to say anything to him, but like it fits well into what they believe and what they do, and all indications it's been very positive up to this point.
Bret, I know it's a long picture question, but how much better do you need this offense to be to get to what you guys want?
Well, I just need to get better from where we were today, right? Like I think anytime you put a parameter on it, if you want me to say, you know, we want to repeat UTSA numbers, I don't think that's fair for anybody involved. I think the thing is, like we started here with day one, we got 22 ahead of us, 22 practices ahead of us that we have to get better before we play Wyoming, and I like the mentality. Palcho at the offensive line, and I think you can see with him, there's a confidence to him. He looks different, feels good. I think in the quarterback room, wherever it goes, I think those guys are assertive and personality-wise. Chase Brown, really, him and Josh, to me, you know, look like running backs should look, and then I think in the wide receivers room, with Isaiah and Casey and a couple other guys surrounding them, like hopefully it's going to continue to take shape, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Is there a timetable for picking a quarterback? Is there a time where it's too late, or is it?
No, like I just said, like if there's somebody that jumps out, I do know this, right? I don't know if I'll announce it, but when we get ready to play Wyoming in game week, right? Like that Sunday when we'll get together, everybody in the room will know who the starting quarterback is, coaches and players. Whether we tell the media, we kind of play to see where we're at, but I know our guys will prepare that week with the idea of who the starting quarterback's going to be.
Coach, being down one in the quarterback room, does that change anything from a recruiting? So with Samari in the portal, does that change anything from a recruiting standpoint?
No, actually we were over a quarterback, so I don't really. No, you know, he was a guy that you know, obviously very happy for him what he did and what he accomplished, but he really wasn't in the mix where we're at right now. So I think that's probably what led to it a little bit. But I think overall, you know, the two top guys that everybody's kind of talking about, but people didn't see RJ, they didn't see Kirkland Michelle, they didn't see Denham and Leary. Like I think there's a reason things happen.
With Sean, I don't know how long he's been around, but what's he bring to you guys, and what Sean Snyder?
Yeah. Well, two things. You know, when I began to look at guys into this position, right, there's a lot of guys that are special teams coordinators who really are good at special teams, but they're not great at maybe or don't have a lot of experience at kicking the ball, snapping the ball, punting the ball. That's his forte. That's where he made his deal. So what I've done, I've surrounded him with obviously myself and our defensive coaches, who really our special team staff will be him, me, Aaron Henry, Andy Boo, Kevin Kane, and a variety of GA. That's our kind of our special team staff, and I've really changed that from where we've been in the past. I've kind of evenly spread in other coaches, but I wanted my offensive coach to have full ability to coach all periods. Gio will work with the punt returners, and CP will work with the kick returners. But otherwise, the offensive staff is free for offensive football throughout. Most of our defensive players are involved in special teams, so Ryan and J-Mo can kind of handle those guys while we're working with special teams. So I'm excited kind of about this overview. But Sean runs all 4 units. He's the voice. He and I have already met a lot. I'm sure he's kind of tired of me already. But we've had a lot of experiences over the years together, and I'm excited for his experience.
Obviously, all these specialists. How do you feel about those competitions?
Yeah, you know, without a doubt, Hugh would be the odds-on guy for the punting job. I think Sean's been impressed with him. I think Caleb was the odds-on guy for the kicking room, but it's not just an open door, right? I really like the response of those two guys with Sean. Snapper, we're working our way through it. I think Aiden's done a really nice job since the departure of the seniors last year, but we got 3 weeks to kind of figure that part out, but it's definitely a good competition.
I wanted to ask you this in Indy, but bringing in a 30-year veteran and coordinating as an analyst, what value is that for you and your program?
Is that mess?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anybody's ages. I used to be the youngest guy in the room. Now I'm one of the oldest. Courtney and I have known each other. We met each other a long time ago, back in the day, but we knew a lot of common people. He worked with Paul Rhodes. Been following his career for a long time. Won championships. He's won national championships. He's really coached every position. Is a guy that when the way things kind of played out, when I was able to bring Sean on and to have Courtney available, and you know, I don't think I'll have him very long, right? I think he'll be a guy in a demand market, but I think Barry, myself, have just been overly impressed with. He's been in an up-tempo offense. He's run that. He's coordinated. He's coached literally every position. So for us, I think he's been a huge bonus. He's got great rapport. You know, he's just getting around our kids. As an analyst, they're not around the players on a coaching role, but like I walked up to him before practice today, and I just said, hey, you've seen a lot of good football practices. If there's anything that jumps out, I love bringing guys in, you know, during the spring, during the fall, midway through the year. Last year, I brought in a couple coaches who were relieved during the season. When you bring good coaches in who are naked to your program, they see things that nobody else sees that pop out to them that you just get so trained to not see, right? And I think that's going to be a huge thing for us.
You mentioned, you know, Art and Tommy were kind of leading those player, you know, only workouts during the summer. Just what kind of feedback did you hear from that? Just maybe those two guys taking.
Well, really the offensive guys, right?
Yeah.
But without a doubt, you know, I really rely heavy on Isaiah, Casey, Chase Brown, and then, you know, for lack of a better purpose, the centers like Pill, you know, who might be involved in snapping, and they just said. And then Tank, who can see certain things, you know, just those guys. Tank may assign them to run stretch that day. He may assign them to run, you know, a certain phase of the strength and conditioning thing, just because he wanted their voice to project and he wanted those guys to respond to it. And universally, he said it was just so much better than what we've had in the past. Not that there was anything wrong with that, but it's just a step forward. Everything I think today, from the time we walked on the field to the time we walked off, was a step in the right direction. And if we can just keep doing that, that'll eventually get us there.
Your first
Last one
practice
here.
with your full freshman class. The previous staff in their second year with their first class played 22 of the 25 freshmen. That was a, you know, Illinois record to play that many freshmen. Do you foresee anything like that this year, playing a lot of these guys from your first class? Or
You know, I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes. I don't know. We're one day into it. I literally, you know, before practice, I write where I'm going to go for periods, right? And I had kind of a hard time deciding where I was going to go because I wanted to concentrate and get a read on about 4 or 5 of these guys. Tomorrow I'll do the other guys. I'm talking about the guys that weren't here in the spring, you know, the new faces. But you had a lot of guys. So the thing is probably a little bit different now, Robert, is that now there's guys like that are transfers that we only have for 1 year that probably take down that number a little bit. But I would say overall, I told that freshman class, I brought them in at the end of last week, every person that touched that freshman class just talked about the difference in the way they went through their compliance meeting when they first got here, the way they handled their semester academically, the way they handled freshman transition. There's a group of academic people that work with the incoming guys for the entire summer. They talked about their demeanor, their approach, their overall presence, and I'm excited about this group. I think it's hopefully a good indication where we're going.